We brought on the CNC custom drum line here at Drum Center of Portsmouth because they were doing something that nobody else was, and that's something I always look out for. They really have captured that vintage market, and they've taken it to another level. The drums are really, I mean, really, really unique. A lot of them just sound exactly like a lot of the vintage drums, or even better. What we found that we're working real well, what's working for us is the Player Date 1 series with the Luan shells. They're a lower cost USA made kit, and it has an incredible warm vintage tone. And when you mic them up, they have this beautiful sound. I mean, you can check out the video. I remember playing the drums thinking, well, these are good sounding drums. But when we listened to them after they were recorded, it was like, oh my God. And it reminded me of all those times. Let me just preface it and say, I'm not as big of a fan of a lot of vintage drums because they don't respond the way I want them to when I hit them. But when you hear them recorded, all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, that's the sound. So that explains that, why a lot of studio guys prefer a lot of the vintage gears, because it records well. So I've never used one in a studio setting, so there you have it. But when we did these demos, it was really, really eye-opening as to how good and warm and fat some of these Player Date drums sounded. They do the Player Date 2s with the maple shells, and then they have their custom line with all kinds of different shell options, and they're making them right here in the States. Really great sounding drums, and they're filling a void that is there. So check them out if you're really looking for that sound. Really cool stuff.